Can a camper van powered by solar drive from Alaska to Argentina? The answer? Yes. While a solar-powered vehicle isn't a new idea, this one takes it to the next level that will probably get all the adventure people excited. Today, we'll be looking at a very special electric van that was converted to a camper van with a large solar array to power the entire vehicle and its journey. But before we begin, let's get plugged in. Hello and welcome to EV Source. My name is Harry and I'm your host for today's dose of EVs and technology. Each day that goes by, we're closer to seeing all modes of transportation go electric. There are dozens of new electric vehicle startups today, and I'm sure we will see a lot more of them in the future. USPS and Amazon are great examples of fleet vehicles going fully electric. Though there are a small number of electric work and delivery trucks operating today, their range is perhaps their biggest bottleneck. But what if a company like Tesla made a delivery vehicle or even a camper van? What would it look like and how much range could we expect? While I don't have a definitive answer to that, I'm quite confident that the range of such vehicles would be more than we've seen in electric trucks and vans today, that go anywhere between 120 to 200 miles per charge. That's not a lot for a vehicle that is operating almost all day, so if Tesla were to make such vehicles, the range would certainly be one of the key factors that will probably dwarf any electric truck and van out there today. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Tesla has its hands full with current operations it has going on around the globe. There's a Shanghai factory that is yet to be fully finished, Giga Berlin that is quickly getting to a point where they can start pumping out vehicles, and then there's Giga Texas that is coming together in record time. And while we wait for big companies to begin electrifying all modes of transportation, enthusiasts across the globe are already taking the necessary steps to make their own dreams come to life. I recently spoke to Joel from Route de Sol about his crazy project. He actually bought an electric van and converted it into a camper van with a folding solar array to power the entire vehicle. The best part is that they're actually driving from Alaska all the way down to Argentina. When I spoke to them, they were in a city called Ensenada, Baja California. Now let's jump straight to the call between me and Joel. Tell us a little bit about what made you choose this truck, and how did you find this truck, first of all?
So, first of all, the van is a 2010 Navistar E-Star International. It's like it was modeled off a van in the UK called the company was called Modec, and it was I forget what the model was called, but it was a Modec something or other, and basically they started producing them, then they went bankrupt, and Navistar and International co-bought that company and then found a grant through the Department of Energy in the United States to produce, I think it was around 500 of them in North America. And there was two versions. There was a Generation 1 and Generation 2. The one that I'm driving is a Generation 2. It had a more robust battery pack. Well, more specifically, the battery casing was made out of metal. No, it was made out of polycarbonate, and the first one was made out of metal. So it was a little bit heavier, the battery casing. But everything else is kind of almost identical, except for a few maybe software upgrades and stuff like that too, to make the van a little bit more user-friendly. So that's the background of the van. The van itself was completely electric. And how I found myself in one was basically they made them from 2004 to 2011. This is a 2010 model, and I bought it in 2018. I bought it in 2018, and I think back when electric vans were early, it was an early on sort of thing, like it was a new technology. People weren't really ready for it yet. You didn't really sell very many of them. They were $150,000 brand new, so very expensive. So the people who had access to them were like big companies, and almost they were forced to buy them as part of some sort of like climate, carbon credit system. If you bought a bunch of these, you would get carbon credits for your company or business, and therefore, you could continue on without taxation or whatever it was. And so my van came from a utility in California called Pacific Gas and Electric, and they owned, I don't know how many, but they owned a bunch of them, and they didn't use them. They literally bought them and they sat in a parking lot because they came with 100 miles, and an electric utility needs to drive usually more than that a day to do all their servicing and all of that sort of stuff. So they were kind of obsolete for their uses. And it had 500 miles on the odometer when I bought it. And so for, I guess, 8 or 9 years, it sat in a parking lot and did nothing. And I came along and I bought it. So the reason I bought it was because it was super cheap. If I was going to convert my own van, which was my original plan, it would have cost me at least, I'd say 40% more the budget. So I saved there, and that helped me it was also a bigger van. It was a bigger van than what I wanted to. So it helped me to buy something cheaper, but then also I had a bigger vehicle, which I had to supply energy to, which became, more of an issue later. But by saving money on buying an already converted or already electric vehicle, I was able to have a bigger vehicle and put more money into the solar aspect of it, the solar charging aspect of it, which is what I did afterwards. In 2018, I bought the van and I did the solar conversion. Me and a guy called Brett Beelan and his wife, Kira Beelan, from a company called Solar Roller in Oregon, in Ashland, Oregon, USA. They helped me convert it to solar power. So we put an 8,000 watt array on the roof, which folds out threefold. Basically, it's like there's a panel on top of the roof, and there's 2 panels that slide out from underneath, and then we have panels that stack on the back of the van as well. And so we built this pretty cool thing in his backyard from materials we bought from Home Depot. And the thing folds out like this, and then it tracks the sun like this. So we get maximum efficiency from all the watts that we can get on the roof. Basically, this last year during the pandemic, I've just been building up resources and developing networks and contacts to get things going again. And I've secured sponsorship with a company called SunPower, who I think anybody within the renewables or EV world should know. It's a huge solar panel manufacturer in the USA. And a company here in Mexico called Galt Energy, who are one of the largest solar panel installers in the nation down here. So we're rebuilding the array so that it's bigger and better than ever. And that's currently where I am. I'm in a workshop called ORS in a city called Ensenada in Baja, California. And we're re-engineering, redesigning the solar array so that it's going to be all automated. It's going to be pretty exciting sort of stuff when it's done.
In the comments section of this channel, I've seen people ask and talk about electric camper vans and contemplating when we would see manufacturers start producing such vehicles. Though the idea is great, the thing is that the electric revolution has just barely begun, and we're just now starting to see companies with fleet vehicles switching to electric. One of the most notable ones is Rivian's delivery van that Amazon has already made a pre-order for 100,000 vehicles, from which 10,000 are expected to be delivered and running by 2022. And the rest by 2030. Amazon, of course, isn't the only one switching its fleet to electric. UPS has also announced plans to switch its fleet to electric and has already placed an order for 10,000 delivery vans from Arrival. I'll be going more into Arrival, a UK-based startup company that's making electric delivery trucks, in an upcoming video, and talking directly with one of the members of the company. So make sure you're subscribed and have the notifications turned on by clicking the bell icon so you don't miss anything. Now, going back to the solar camper van, you must be wondering how long it takes to charge a large vehicle like this with a 120 kWh battery pack using just the solar panels, and how much range they can get from a single charge.
Straight up, the easiest answer is it varies, but the fastest I've ever charged the van is in 2.5 days. Technically, on paper, it should take about 20 hours of sunlight hours to charge the van. And so when you think about that, you get little clouds and stuff like that. The quickest I've ever done it is in 2.5 days. Typically, though, I kind of stop in a place for about 3 to 4 days. Like on the 3rd day, I'm getting my charge full. And on the 4th day in the morning, I wake up, I pack everything up, and then I hit the road. And yeah, I can drive 200 miles, 300 kilometers. I don't know what your listeners prefer. It's pretty hard when you're speaking to international. But 200 miles for the North Americans and the English people, and 300 kilometers for the rest of the world. My future, well, my whole goal, the mission of the project, Route del Sol, is to literally just display to the world that renewable energies are available to us currently today. And there's not really any reason why societies around the entire planet can't operate off of them. I do believe that mission is super important, given the way that, you know, policies are being made around even just electrification, not even renewable energies, but electrification and renewable energy. It seems to me that there has been a holdback on these technologies. There's been some sort of a bottlenecking for societies, and this project is really just to show the world, hey, like, tell your governments to do this, because that's the only way that it's actually going to happen. If you tell them to do it, they're not going to do it if we just keep our mouths shut and don't make some noise about this. So that's the main mission of the journey, is to show the world that the renewable energy future is here today, and we can do it. We can do it today with the technology that we currently have.
That there is a good point. If we, the people, don't demand change, the governments aren't going to do anything progressive. So go out there, make your voices heard, put out requests to your leaders, and demand for better solutions for energy production and energy storage. I believe as we move forward from here, energy storage is going to be the next big thing. Australia, together with Tesla, has already demonstrated how well energy can be stored from wind for later use, providing consistent power even during power outages. The same can be done with solar. Store the energy during the day and use it at night or later when needed. There are videos that go over this stuff more thoroughly, which you can find in the top right corner of this video. You can watch the full 1 hour long call between me and Joel on our Patreon page. There was so much more we discussed during the call, so check it out if you're interested. Also, show some love and support to Joel and his team, who are working hard to not only make the drive from Alaska to Argentina possible, but also building and making improvements as they go. The link to their channel is in the description below. Once again, we are at the end of the video, and if you're still here, you are amazing. If you own a Tesla, get 10% off on your accessories when shopping at Abstract Ocean with the code EVSource. Also, don't forget to check out our merch store for shirts, hoodies, and more. And if you would like to show more support for the channel, consider becoming a patron and get access to exclusive content such as Q&As and behind the scenes. But in the end, the best form of support is having you watch and enjoy these videos. And of course, a shout out to our patrons you see on the screen, and a special shout out to our power producer Inku Kang. Thanks for watching. My name is Harry and this is EV Source. Keep charging ahead and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe and take care.